What's happening, my friends? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. What's up, RP? Good to see you this afternoon. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Box Storian. Today, boxing in Arkansas. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it and can't get enough of it. Yep, we'll begin that 3-day run of all boxing today, Thursday, Friday, 2 big cards Saturday. We're going to go over the card. Today is Darius Fulgham against Alexander. I believe it's Vaughn Alexander, yeah. Well-traveled veteran. He's got 30 fights on the dot, okay? Pretty good card tonight. Real Prison Talk with Tommy in the building. What's up, Coach? I was checking out some of your videos this morning. Keep that fiery stuff coming. I have to go live on them, Coach, with some of that prior content you got there, man. Yeah. We're going to be talking about boxing in Arkansas today. Arkansas didn't have a big history in boxing, but had a lot of good boxers, and that's primarily what we're going to talk about, the boxers from Arkansas. And then at the end, we're going to have some time. I'm going to go over short history of boxing in the United States again. Touch on that every now and then. Keep everybody up to date on how this great sport got started over here. How it went, going from decade to decade. We're going to get to that later on. But it's Thursday. Like I said, beginning of that 3-day run at the Golden Boy card tonight. And then tomorrow, of course, Lamont Roach is making his first title defense in his home, Washington, D.C. Took them out off Hector. Hector was clearly affected by the Tank fight, the Tank knockout, because he wasn't nowhere near the same fighter when he fought Roach that when he fought Chris Colbert, because he didn't let his hands go against Roach. He looked hesitant. Just wasn't the same at all. And you know how everybody always blows up after they fight Tank. Hector went the other way. After he fought Tank, he went back down there and lost his title. To Lamont Roach. You'll see Lamont tomorrow in action in his first defense at 1:30. Good stuff coming up. And the big card this weekend. Of course, we got Teofimo against Steve Claggett. You know, Steve Claggett, clearly somebody they went and found to make Teofimo look good. But what if Teofimo loses? What happens to him then? Wow. Like I was saying yesterday, he probably had to be checked into an institution or something. Teo is very fragile. But he's a very good fighter. Just depends on where his head at and which Teofimo shows up. If the Teofimo that beat Josh Taylor or Loma shows up, then he'd probably make easy work of Claggett. But if the other one shows up, we could get a huge upset. That would be huge. Wow. It would be interesting to see what happens to Teofimo if he loses this fight. But we're going to find out. That's in a couple of days, Saturday. And then the big one is Bam Rodriguez and Juan Francisco Estrada. I can't stop talking about that one because I've been waiting on that one for a long time. Of course, Bam had been up to 115 before super flyweight and held that belt that he's going after because it's only 3 pounds. I think Bam is still a unified champion at flyweight. Sonny Edwards is on that card too. That's who Bam became unified against. Was that earlier this year? I think no, that was last year, 2023, around December. And Sonny is on the card, starting his comeback. This will be his first fight since he lost that fight to Bam. Yeah, Sonny took a lot of damage in that fight. He had a broken orbital bone. You could see the sweat and blood jumping off his face every time Bam connected. I thought the referee let it go a little too long. Yeah. I can't remember whether the ref stopped it or Sonny's corner, but I thought the ref should have stopped it a round or two earlier because the orbital bone was broken. He was clearly in bad shape. Bam really put a beating on him. And Bam is young. He's going to be around for decades. My last pound for pound list, Bam was on it too. Yeah. Bam Rodriguez, one of the up-and-coming young fighters. And Trump was telling me yesterday that in the chat that Chocolatito has a fight coming up because him or Juan Francisco hadn't fought since they met in 2022 in December, remember? So they both back in action this year. I don't know why either one of them took that long layoff. Juan has got a 1.5 year layoff going in there against a monster like Bam. Can't be good. Because you can spar and all of that all you want to, but nothing is like being under those lights. Because in sparring you're working on stuff, but under the lights, it's the real deal. I got Bam by decision. I think Juan Francisco will take him to the distance. I don't have Bam stopping. But the good thing about it, we are going to see in 2 days, Saturday, coming right up. Yeah. I see your RP. Straight out of New Jersey. We got Real Prison Talk with Tommy in the building. Coach is straight out of Florida. But got some fire videos over there. I was checking them out this morning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What a story. And now, a very successful personal trainer. First child on the way. Trained Ronnie Lott. Mm-hmm. So that's big time there. Yeah. If Ronnie trusted him to train him, yeah. That's our own coach, Thomas Morris. And he's in the building. Waiting for a few more people. We're going to get started in about 10 minutes. Boxing in Arkansas. Next week is a good one, California. Yeah. Got a real good boxing history in California. Some good boxers that came out of there. 7 came out of California. But I always do former boxers. But I might look at a couple current guys too, Yeah. Okay. Coach says I'll be dropping new content once this pink clears up. Okay, Coach. Yeah, take your time. You will get there. You're off to a good roaring start. I know that. Yeah. Off to a very good start. Yeah, because all that content is fire. From what I've seen, got a very good story to tell. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know the personal trainer part and all of it's going to come into it. Like I said, very successful personal trainer. Yep. Everybody will be dropping by. I know Mike Mazik, Mike Ram, Lonnie Lee. And don't forget the raffle for the big 55-inch color TV. That first big card out. That's July 13th, and then you can watch that Bud Crawford versus Israel Maksimov in style. Mm-hmm. Bud is going. That'll be Bud's first fight at 154, and he's going for a title up there. Yeah. 154 is heating up too. 154, 140. 35, we got Tank, Shakur Loma, and what's the guy named Baranchik as champions, the other Ukrainian guy. So that's heating up. And they talking about one guy coming out of it when the smoke clears. So that's going to be very interesting. They're talking about Tank and Loma in November. Yep, Coach Kitty tweeted that. November 2024. So yeah, that's coming. And Shakur is in there next weekend against Artem. I look for Shakur to be intent on putting in a good showing after the Dalo Santo fight. All the whining people did about it, called it running. But, like I was telling you yesterday, people that call it running that's a casual term. And it's a narrative. People that say running don't know what they're looking at. So they pick up the narrative that they heard somebody else say about it because they don't know what they're looking at. Okay. It's not running, it's the sweet science, man. At its best, when you see slick Shakur Stevenson in there. Definitely not running. But it's a narrative, a casual narrative. But, can't say it enough. People don't know what they're looking at. So they go by a narrative that they heard somebody else say about it. They heard somebody say running. They don't know what they don't know too much about the sweet science of boxing. So they just pick up the narrative. He ran. That's all that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, casual talking point, running. Yeah, you're getting inclined between them ropes. You're not going to run. If you were going to run, you wouldn't get in there in the first place. You know what I mean? So, nah. Everybody is not a knockout artist. You're not going to see a knockout every fight. Sometimes you're going to see the sweet sides, the good footwork, the ring generalship. That's what Shakur does, okay? And people that don't understand the sweet science fully will call it running because that's what they heard somebody else say. That's a casual talking point, that's all. D1, AWM, one of the average white men of the JBT in the building. What's up, D1? Along with William Old School and Rant. That's another fire new channel in this JBT. They have taken off like a rocket ship, man. Them two brothers, man, are putting it down. Good to see you, D1. And congratulations on the fire new show. Really proud of you and William Old School, man. Y'all doing a great job. Like I said, they took off like a rocket ship going up into outer space. Them two brothers, man. Wow. I caught the last. Old School told me they were having one Tuesday. I didn't catch that one, but I caught the one Friday. And I warned those Devin Haney fans about going in there any kind of way with that nonsense. And one of them got cooked Friday. No, he didn't get cooked. He got barbecued. And then they treated him nice at the end, thanked him for coming. But I warned them, what would happen with those two angry brothers, man. Told them. And it happened. I enjoyed it too. Yeah. Looking forward to the next one. They're usually, I know Fridays, but Old School told me Tuesday and Friday. I know Fridays, I guess, right after the hangout. Oh, right, the Rise. The Rise comes out at 9. So right after the Rise. Angry white men. Just turn your notifications on. Subscribe, turn your notifications on. Hit all on that. When you hit the bell icon, hit all because you want all of that fire output that them two brothers are putting down over there, man. Yeah. That's JBT. Just boxing talk. All fire. All fire. But yeah, looking forward to that. Angry white men. They talked it into existence. Coach did the same thing. We was all talking about them. The story Coach had to tell, yeah. And it's a channel. And then D1 and Old School, I was in the chat when the idea first came up in the hangout. And now it's a thing, a good thing. Fire channel. But we're gonna touch on the fights tonight. Around 5 more minutes, give a few more people time to get in. And then we're going to talk about boxing in Arkansas for a little while because Thursday is the History of Boxing in the States series. Going to go through every state in this great country and talk about the history of boxing in it. Couldn't find much of a history in Arkansas, but they got a lot of good fighters that came out of there, and that's primarily what we're going to be talking about today. Like the guy on the profile there, the Big Bear, Sonny Liston from Arkansas, Big John Tate, Tommy Morrison, Jermaine Taylor, the second man to ever be undisputed in the four-belt era. And Jermaine is the only man that went all four of them at one time when he took them off of B-Hop, because the rest of them got them two here, one there, one there. But Jermaine got all of them at once. He took all four of them off of Bernard Hopkins. I believe he might have took the Ring magazine title too. But yeah, Jermaine is from Arkansas. And we got this lady, Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway. She's from Arkansas. She's going to be the first one we talk about. Yep. I told you Mike Mazik was coming. What's up, Mike Mazik? How are you today, bro? Always good to see Mike. Mike is always in your support. And he's in the building now. Yep. That Golden Boy card is tonight. Darius Fulgham versus Alexander. My phone keeps going out on me, but we're going to be okay. Yeah, Darius Fulgham versus Vaughn Alexander. Yeah. That's tonight. And a big card. We're going to touch on all the fights briefly before we start talking about Arkansas. Both of their last fights were in April on the same card. Yeah, those two guys were on the same card in April. Now they're hooking up against each other. Could be a good fight. It's a big card. Some other good fights on the card. We got a women's fight on there. And of course, Lamont Roach making his first title defense Friday in his home of Washington, D.C. The big one is Saturday, though. Bam versus Juan Francisco. I've been looking forward to that for a long time. Yeah. And they say Chocolatito's still active. I thought he had retired. But both him and Juan Francisco fought in December 2022 for the last of their trilogy, which Juan Francisco won. And neither has been in the ring since then. And Juan Francisco is a year and a half layoff going in there against Bam, one of the best young fighters in the sport today. Yeah, Bam is on my pound for pound list. That's a tall task for Juan Francisco. Bam is a great young fighter. Already a two-division world champion. Because like I told you, the belt he's going for Saturday against Juan Francisco, Bam actually had it. Then he vacated that and went down to flyweight 112 and became unified. But it's just 3 pounds, you know. Because from flyweight 112 to super bantamweight 122, it's just 10 pounds. So yeah, that's got 4 weight classes squeezed into that 10 pounds where when you get up, you know, the higher you get in the weights, they're more widely spread apart. I guess there's a reason they did it that way. I don't know what it is, but I guess there's a reason. Because, you know, 10 pounds down there between 4, but get up to like 160, 168, you got 8 pounds in between them. And it goes further and further as you get up because, you know, like junior lightweight to lightweight is 5, lightweight to junior super lightweight is 5, then to super lightweight to welterweight is 7. Welterweight to super welterweight is 7. Then the middleweight is 6. 8 to super middleweight. Yeah, so I guess it's a reason. And I can't say enough. They need to address that weight bullying. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more in the building. They need to address that weight bullying, man, because, you know, weight classes were for a reason. And, you know, you shouldn't have guys fighting at 140, at 165. I say put a percentage on it. 10% of the weight, the contracted weight is the most you should be able to rehydrate to. And you weigh in Friday, you have to make the contracted weight. Then Saturday, you can only be 10% higher than that contracted weight, right? And, you know, when you re-weigh in on Saturday, not Saturday morning, right before you make your ring walk, that's where the second weigh-in should be. That way, everybody is in the weight class that they're supposed to be in. The weight bullying would be over at that point. What's wrong with that? Weigh in, turn your music on, and make your ring walk. You're fighting within 10% of what the contracted weight is. Old school said Devin would probably retire if they made that rule. Yeah, but that's how it should be, man. Weight classes are for a reason. This guy fighting. I'm not picking on Devin, but it's a good example. This guy's fighting for the 140 championship, almost in the super middleweight division. That's not why they made weight divisions. I'm pretty sure it isn't. But they wouldn't have just made them. They would just say anybody just get in it. The weight doesn't matter. If you're going to be 25 pounds over the division. What's up, Mike Grimm? Salute. Mike Grimm is in here, in the building. Salute, Mike Grimm. Yeah, I'm just still ranting about that weight bullying. But I was hearing, old school told me that the WBA now has a rehydration clause, which is good. So now the IBF and the WBA is covered. WBC, WBO will get on board. But Mauricio's WBC will never do it. Mauricio is bad for boxing. He's not going to do anything right, I always make an example of the Oscar Valdez situation. Mauricio orchestrated that. Oscar Valdez failed his A and B sample, was still allowed to fight. Went in there and lost the fight to Conceição. Then they cheated and gave him the fight. Mauricio, they talking about he drank some tea. The illegal substance was in the tea. Just like Canelo didn't take the PEDs, the cow took them. Come on, man. Get out of here. We're going to start in a couple minutes. But yeah, they need to address that. There's a lot of things wrong with boxing right now, but the weight bullying is at the top of the list, man. At the very top. They really need to address that because you shouldn't have guys fighting 25 pounds over the limit of the contracted weight. You just shouldn't. And then Ryan comes in 3 over on the weigh-in, and all the people ranting, the fans of the certain boxer ranting about that, but they okay with their guy being 25 over by fight night. That's just fanboying, plain and simple, man. If you had a problem with Ryan weighing in 3 pounds over the contracted weight, you should have had a problem with Devin coming in on fight night 25 pounds over. You just should have, man. If you didn't, you're a fanboy. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. How can you be okay with one and not be okay with the other? Now they both were wrong, right? Ryan should have came in at 140 like the contracted weight. But by fight night against Regis, Devin shouldn't have been no 165. Come on, man. He's fighting for the 140 title. Why did they designate 140 as the weight limit if this guy's going to be at 165? They need to address that. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not picking on Devin. Let's talk fashion. Remo. Hashtag JBT in the building. Let's get ready to do this thing. Boxing in Arkansas. It's going to be short, but then I'm going to talk about the history of boxing in the United States again. When we're finished with this boxing in Arkansas. But next week is going to be a good big one. California is next, alphabetical order. We don't have any states that start with B. So from Arkansas, we're going to California, and that's going to be a good one. They got a big history about big background in boxing out there and some great boxers from the state. And that's next Thursday. I need some ideas for shows on Wednesday too, because I take my Wednesday shows out of the chat. Give me some ideas. I still got some from Remo in there. Okay, let's get ready to start today's show. First, we're going to talk about that card, Golden Boy card tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, tonight. Golden Boy card tonight. We got tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. We're going to be busy as boxing fans, man. Boxing fan heaven. I'm not going to talk about that other one, like the blank in Boys Village. I might get in trouble. But we're going to be happy. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. But I appreciate everybody that stopped by today. Because like I always say, you could be doing 1,000 other things, but you decided to come over here with Cat Sports today, and I really appreciate it. But first, the raffle. 55-inch color TV. Okay, just $10. I got two 55 inches. I didn't pay. I paid way more than $10 for both of them. Somebody's gonna win it. Just send $10 right here. I gotta watch my big fingers because I'm always messing something up. I haven't ended the show yet, but a couple times I almost, because the content creators know they ask you twice if you hit it end show. They ask you, "Are you sure?" Because mine would have ended a whole bunch of times because I didn't hit it. I always say, no, I'm not. No, don't end it. I didn't mean that. But yeah, send $10 right there. $10 per chance. $ JBT. Oh, Lord, not there. That's not even right. Sorry. Here we go. $ JBT Network. All caps. You just drop the number 1 behind. That's right there. The second one. Send $10 for that per chance now. Because Big Dre got 4 chances. Y'all better get on it. If you want 10 chances, send them $100. You want 20, send 200. You send $2,000, you get 200 chances. You'll probably win it. But all you need is 1 chance to get in. The drawing is July 13th. Okay? You don't have to be present to win. You will be notified. And the truck will drop off your TV. But let's go with the show. Okay, boxing in Arkansas. But first, let's touch on this card today, the Golden Boy card. Now, it's Darius Fulgham against Sean Alexander, right? Now, Alexander comes in with 18 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw, 11 knockouts. Now, he accepted this fight on short notice, okay? This is his 4th fight this year. But guess what? He's lost all 4. Now, his last fight was in April. He lost that one. Okay. Sean is 38 years, 38 years old. Okay. At the end of his career, 38 years old. He lost the 10-round decision to Sergey Derevyanchenko, April 20th in Brooklyn, New York. That was his 4th loss in a row. 4 fights this year. Now, Fulgham comes in 11-0, 10 knockouts. What a knockout rate that is, okay? Now, he was on that same card with Alexander in April. And he got a decision over Atlanta's Fox. And Fox was the first person in Fulgham's professional career to go to district court. Right? And Fulgham is 27 years old. So we got a young 27-year-old guy in there against an old 38-year-old veteran. And we'll see what happens. You know? And it's tonight. Elsewhere on the card, we got Eric Priest, 13-0, 8 knockouts he's from Overland Park, Kansas. And he's going up against Jana Gonzalez, 21 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 17 knockouts. From Cartagena, Colombia. And this fight is 8 rounds in the middleweight division. Then we got Tristan Kalkuf, 13 wins, just 1 loss, 10 knockouts. From Las Vegas. Originally born in Texas, but now resides in Las Vegas. He's going up against Anthony Holloway. 7 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws. Okay? From Peoria, Illinois. And that's 10 rounds in the cruiserweight division. Then we got Grant Flores, 4-0, 3 knockouts. Early in he's a young prospect from Coachella, California, going up against Josiah Gonzalez. 2-2, 1 draw, 2 prospects. And that's 6 rounds in the junior middleweight division. Got a couple more prospects. Leonardo Sanchez, 6-0, 3 knockouts from Cathedral City, California, going up against Janelle Larza. 11 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 7 knockouts from Makati City in the Philippines. That's 6 rounds in the lightweight division. These are then they got a couple of non-televised fights. Caden Griffith versus Juan Manuel Bautista. That's in the junior welterweight. Brandon Sanchez versus MJ Bowe. MJ Bowe. 6 rounds in the featherweight division. That's the card tonight. Golden Boy card tonight on the Zone. And that's the first card of 3 days straight. Oh yeah, We got Pro Box Friday this week too. Normally on Wednesday, but it's Friday this week. Yeah, Pro Box Friday. Lamont Roach making his first defense. Teofimo against Steve Claggett. He went all the way to Australia to find somebody that Teofimo could beat. But what if he loses? That's what I'm wondering. And then the big one of the weekend is Bam Rodriguez versus Juan Francisco Estrada. So we're going to be busy boxing fans. Okay. Now let's talk about some of these fighters from Arkansas now. Because I couldn't find too much of a boxing history from Arkansas. But they had some great fighters out of there, including the guy on the thumbnail, the Big Bad Bear. Well, he's the Big Bear. I call him the Big Bad Bear. Ali called him the Big Ugly Bear, but he's the Big Bear. Sonny Liston from Arkansas, but he's not first. Okay. Check on the chat out here. Smash on that like button. Like Let's Talk Fashion. Another fire Let's Talk Fashion out there too. Came yesterday morning at 10 a.m. Wednesday. But be warned, he went to the pool on us when we was really into it deep. He went to the pool. I was kind of upset, man. We was hanging on every word of the brother. The pool would have been there all day. But it was still a good show though. I hope you enjoyed yourself at the pool. Let's Talk Fashion. Okay, now, Arkansas has produced many famous boxers, including former champions, Golden Gloves winners, and other notable boxers. Let's take a look at them. Okay? I got a small slide display for you today. Nothing fancy on CAZ Sports, just keep it simple. Boxing history. Okay. Now the first one from Arkansas, that's Holly. Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway. Your hot stuff. Okay. Need to get situated. Yeah, you get over there. You have a laptop and two phones working. Okay. Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway. There she is. That's her on the right. Doing the right hand. I don't know who she's fighting. Now, Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway, she's a model, a wrestler, and a former professional boxer. From 2003 to 2013, fighting at the minimum weight and flyweight levels. That's ranged from 98 all the way to 115 pounds at the time she was fighting. The diminutive Dunaway, her weight generally listed at her height was about 5 feet, okay? She crafted a successful career in the developing world of women's boxing at that time that she was fighting, right? 2003 to 2013. In 2003, women's boxing was still developing. We still had Layla Ali, Jackie Frazier Lyde, all them people. Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter. All of them were still active around that time. Right before Amanda came in, like 2009. But anyway, Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, Thomas Hill? Hashtag JBT. The mayor of YouTube. T. Hill in the building. And just like he gave you the nickname, the box story, I take credit for that nickname, T. Hill. That's right. So what's up, T. Hill? Good to see you, my brother, from California. And California, boxing in California is next Thursday. That's next in a series. But Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway, yeah, she crafted a very successful career in the developing world of women's boxing, winning numerous world titles. She was born on October 18th, 1984 in Van Buren, Arkansas, Crawford County. A little about her youth or her family is known. Okay, she first became attracted to boxing while watching training at the World Class Fitness Center in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Now, even though she had never seen a professional boxing match, she decided that she wanted to pursue a career in the sport. Holly Hot Stuff Dunaway. Okay. Next is the Big Bad Bear. Sonny Liston. There he is. The Big Bad Bear. The Big Bear, but I call him the Big Bad Bear. Charles Sonny Liston. Now, he was a noted boxer who briefly reigned as heavyweight champion after a first-round knockout against Floyd Patterson. And they knocked him out in the first round again in the rematch because Cus D'Amato, Floyd Patterson's manager, kept him away from Sonny Liston for a long time because they knew what would happen. And what they knew would happen, happened. He got Floyd out of there in the first round. Just a bad matchup for Floyd, you know. Okay. Sonny would come forward, pressure. And Floyd couldn't handle it. It needs a fight, right? But he did reign briefly because he ran into a young boxer by the name of Cassius Clay, who made him quit on the stool. And then the second fight, a lot of questions about that. The Phantom Punch fight, yeah. That was Sonny and Muhammad Ali's second fight. Now, however, his criminal activity and later accusations of mob connections and throwing fights, right? Sonny was accused of all that. Never proven that he threw fights, but he was accused of it. Okay. Spent some time in prison. Now, Sonny was born on May 8th. Now, there's a big question mark about the year Sonny was born. Now, his mother said 1932, and it's widely thought to be 1932. But it's been said he was born as early as 1918, way back then, by very reliable sources. Now, his parents were Toby and Helen Baskin Liston, African-American sharecroppers in rural St. Francis County, Arkansas. Now, Sonny was one of many children. One account lists 24 siblings. Okay. He was raised on heavy farm work, many beatings, and with virtually no schooling. He dropped out in elementary school. Now, okay, Thomas Hill says, Sonny Liston had the bubble guts and needed to use the rest. Really bad in the Ali fight. I didn't know that, T. Hill. That's news to me. Wow. Is that why he went down so early like that? He had to go to the bathroom? He had to do number 2. So Sonny said, I'm just going, as soon as Ali do a punch close to me, I'm going down because I got to use the bathroom. Okay. That's one theory from Thomas Hill. Okay. I've never heard that one before. Very interesting. But anyway, Sonny was raised on heavy farm work. Many beatings. His father really beat him all the time, man. Yeah. And with virtually no schooling, dropped out in elementary school. And at the age of 13, he ran away to St. Louis, Missouri, following his mother. See, this is a very brief profile, because I did a big profile on it before. And he ran away at 13 to Missouri with his mother, to follow behind his mother, who had left earlier. And when in St. Louis, that's when he started committing various muggings and robberies. And of course, he was eventually caught and spent some time in prison. Now, Sonny had a professional record of 50 wins, 4 losses, 39 knockouts. In the International Boxing Hall of Fame, went in the inaugural year of 1990 in what they call that old timers category, you know, because the International didn't open until 1990, and all those old school guys like Sonny, Sugar Ray Robinson, Willie Pep, all those guys, Sandy Sadler, they put them all in one big truckload of them in 1990 and called it the old timers category because it was years after, you know, they would have been eligible for it. So yeah. Next is Big John Tate. He's from Arkansas. Big John. There's Big John Tate. Now, during the mid-1970s and early 1980s, Big John Tate gained notoriety as a successful amateur and professional boxer. Now, he was a member of that historic 1976 Olympic team, with the Spinks brothers, Sugar Ray, Howard Davis, Leo Randolph. Yeah, Big John Tate was on that team as a member of the U.S. Olympic team at the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal, Canada. Tate won a bronze medal in the heavyweight division, okay? And in 1979, Big John defeated Jiri Coetzee to claim the World Boxing Association WBA heavyweight title. The WBA, internationally recognized professional boxing organization. Tate John won that title in 1979 against Jiri Coetzee, right? And John Tate was born in West Memphis, Crittenden County, Arkansas, on January 29th, 1955. He was the second of Barney Archer's 7 children. Tate did not know his father, Levon Tate, and grew up in poverty. He struggled academically and left school in the 7th grade. Okay. Tate launched his amateur career in 1972, which culminated in a bronze medal in 1976, remember? He turned pro the next year in 1977 and won the WBA heavyweight title during his career. I think he lost to Teofilo Stevenson in the Olympics, okay? James Romano in the building. What's up, James Romano? James said 6 Ali fights were fixed for him. Ali was a bomb. All you had to do is cut it off, and Ali would not win. So, James, I take it you're not an Ali fan. But salute James Romano. Like and subscribe, please. Welcome to Cast Sports, the box story. Appreciate your input, James. I don't think Ali was the greatest neither. I think it was Joe Louis. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. Salute Melanin Queen 27. James says, listener was born in 1917. Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, thank you for that, James. Yeah, question mark about when he was born. His mother said 1932. So she had him. So I would kind of like to leave his mother over to Britannica. You reference James. What you think? Are you going to believe his mother or the Encyclopedia Britannica? Encyclopedia Britannica did not have him. His mother had him. So I think she would be a pretty reliable source on that. Just saying, Just saying. But salute Melanin Queen 27. You think about that Melanin Queen? Who are you going to believe? Encyclopedia Britannica or the man's mother? Don't get me started. But salute, James. Good to have you. Okay, where was it? Yeah. He struggled academically, and he was raised in poverty. We on John Tate there. Now, John had a professional record of 34 wins, 3 losses, and 23 knockouts. Big John Tate. Next is Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor. Okay? Jermaine, well, his first name was really Leicester. Jermaine Bad Intentions Taylor. My first name was Leicester. I probably go by my middle name of Jermaine also. Now, he began boxing at the age of 13 and rose through the amateur and professional ranks to become one of the best boxers in the sport. He won a bronze medal for boxing at the 2000 Olympics and became the undisputed champion in 2005, holding that title for 2 years. And with that title in 2005, Jermaine became only the second boxer to be undisputed in the four-belt era. Now, Jermaine was born on August 11th, 1978. He competed from 2001 to 2014, 13-year career. Thirteen-year career, 2001 to 2014. He's the only male boxer to win all four major titles in a single fight when he defeated Bernard Hopkins in 2005. And Jermaine had 38 fights in his career. He won 33, lost 4, had 1 draw, and 20 of his wins came by way of knockout. Okay. Next fighter from the great state of Arkansas is Alvin Manley. There's Alvin Manley. Lonnie Lee in the building. What's up, Lonnie Lee? Uh-oh. Getting my trigger finger ready. You know, I'm quick on the trigger. And it's loaded. It's loaded. Okay. Warning, my trigger finger is going toward the trigger. Well, salute Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Alvin Manley. He was born in Widner, Arkansas. He was an amateur standout, but had limited success as a professional. Manley was a 2-time National Golden Gloves super heavyweight champion, 1992 and 1996. Now, he turned pro in 1997 and won his first 2 fights that year, but he did not fight again until 2002. Okay, 5 years went 5 years. He fought twice when he turned pro in 97. Then he went 5 years before his next fight. And then since after 2002, he only fought fringe heavyweight fighters. And he had 11 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws in his career. Alvin Manley. Okay? Then we go to Alvin Manley. Next is Leotis Martin. There's Leotis. Bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, Leotis Martin. Bear with me for a second. Equipment acting up. Okay, Leotis Martin. Come on, Leotis. Now, Leotis was born in Helena, Arkansas, okay? On March 10th, 1939. Now, he is best known for his win over former undisputed heavyweight champion, Sonny Liston. Leotis had a win over Sonny. He also won against top contenders Alvin Lewis, Carl Millenberger, Thad Spencer, Sonny Banks, and Roberto Davis. And it was listed by the Ring magazine as one of the 100 greatest punchers of all time. His career, however, was marked by inconsistency and bad luck. Okay? He had 36 total fights. He won 31, lost 5, won 19 fights by knockout. Leotis Martin. Okay. I got my slide display off track. Now, how did that happen? Yeah, there we go. Tommy Morrison is next. There's Tommy. Okay. Tommy Morrison. From Arkansas. Yep. Good heavyweight boxer. Tommy Morrison. let's talk about Tommy briefly. Just a brief profile of these guys, that's all. See what's happening in the chat. Okay, Tommy Moss. Tommy was born in Gravette, Arkansas. Okay. On January 2nd, 1969. Now, he competed from 1988 to 2009. Okay, 21-year career. Best known for his left hook and formidable punching power. Morrison won the WBO heavyweight title in 1993 with a unanimous decision victory over Big George Foreman. That was during George's second career. Okay, that was before George beat Michael Moorer to become the oldest heavyweight in boxing. Okay, now Morrison lost the title in his second defense to Michael Bent that same year. His other boxing highlights include a fight with Ray Mercer in 1991 and with Donovan Razor Ruddock in 1995. And Morrison is also known for his acting career, having starred alongside Sylvester Stallone in the 1990 film Rocky V. He played Tommy Gunn in that one, remember? And Morrison retired from boxing in 1996 after testing positive for HIV. Okay, Tommy Morrison. He had a total of 52 fights in his career. He won 48. He lost 3. He had 1 draw. And he won 42 fights by knockout. Not a bad knockout rate for Tommy Morrison. Oh, I was going the wrong way. Next is Tommy Freeman on the Boxers from Arkansas. There's Tommy Freeman right there. Let's take a look at Tommy Freeman real quick. How is everybody this Thursday afternoon? Got this 5 cards coming up, starting tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 2 tomorrow, including Pro Box and Lamont Roach, and then 2 Saturday. Teal Fremont and Steve Plaggett, and the big one, Bam Rodriguez versus Juan Francisco Estrada. Okay. Now Tommy Freeman, he's from Tommy Freeman. Bear with me for a second. That makes up mixed up. Yeah, 5 cards coming up, starting tonight. And the card is in the Footprint Center. Saturday, I talked about that when I talked about Arizona last week, remember? But Tommy Freeman is from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Okay. Tommy up on the screen there. From Hot Springs, Arkansas. He competed in the 1920s and 1930s, went way back. He won the welterweight world championship on September 5th, 1930, when he defeated reigning champion, young Jack Thompson. He lost the title to Thompson the following year in the rematch on April 14th, 1931. Remarkably, the majority of his recorded wins were by knockout, and his losses were few, at under 10% of his total fights. Tommy Freeman. He had a total of 224 fights, okay? He won 174. He lost 20, had 84 knockouts. And get this, had 21 draws. That's a lot of draws. Last but not least is Buddy Holderfield, boxers from Arkansas. There's Buddy. Yeah, that's a lot of fights, isn't it? 224. That's a lot even for that era, and they fought a lot back then. But 224 is a lot even for the 20 and 30 period. Wow. That's what he had, though. 220 fights. And I hope everybody just like and subscribe, please. You know, appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Appreciate everybody's input. Appreciate you, James Romano. Liston was 11-1 favorite the first fight against Ali. Bob Bosses made a huge money killing that fight. Even the second fight, Liston was 8-5 favorite. Okay, Liston's mom and wife lied a lot. They had many different years. Liston was born. None were truthful. Okay, yeah. Okay, Buddy Holderfield. Was the first boxer from Arkansas to have ever won the National Golden Gloves. And then he later went pro, and he lived in North Little Rock, Arkansas. He fought 48 professional fights, had a record of 27 wins, 20 losses, and 1 draw. He was known for his clever fighting styles that won crowds over. He helped out at the North Little Rock Boys Club and their boxing team. Holyfield was involved in professional boxing 1946 to 1955. Okay? Buddy Holyfield. Okay? Now, we even had boxing at the University of Arkansas. Look at some boxing clubs in Arkansas. Yep. Just like we had boxing at the University of Alabama, we had boxing at the University of Arkansas also. Sure did. Okay. Let's take it back up there. Okay. Now, the University of Arkansas Boxing Club is a recreational and technical boxing club. This means that they teach the techniques, form, and mindset needed for members to grow as martial artists and drill targeted exercises to make sure they can go the distance. Club is open to all levels of skill and commitment. And the members come first. Safety first. University of Arkansas Boxing Club. Okay? Let's just name some of the other boxing clubs they have over there in Arkansas. Okay? Come up right quick. There's a bunch of them. Boxing is pretty big out there. You wouldn't think Arkansas was a boxing state. Yeah. At the Arkansas Boxing Club in Little Rock, Arkansas. The Straight Right Boxing and Fitness, also in Little Rock. The Fight Factory, Rogers, Arkansas. Major Moves Boxing, Jacksonville, Arkansas. Fort Smith Boxing Club, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Gillespie Boxing, Conway, Arkansas. Morrison Boxing Club, Marmel, Arkansas. Conway Fitness, Conway, Arkansas. Willie McCoy Youth Boxing Club. BDJ Fitness and Boxing, Fort Smith, Arkansas. 501 Fight Club, Beebe, Arkansas. Elite Boxing Club. Family Combat Fitness Center, Fort Smith, Arkansas. The Warren Boxing Club, Warren, Arkansas. Texarkana Boxing Academy, Texarkana, that's in Texas. No, Texarkana, Arkansas, excuse me. Rumble Boxing. Okay, that's just a few of the boxing clubs they have out there in Arkansas. Okay, and next week is boxing in California. Okay, Now, with Tim Layton in the building. What's up, Tim Layton? Salute. Now, we're going to look at a short history of boxing in the United States. That's all I have on Arkansas today. We're going to have a nice big one next week, boxing in California. California's next on the list. Going right down all the states in alphabetical order. Salute Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. And everybody ready for all that boxing we got this weekend? Get ready because it's here. Starting tonight. Big Golden Boy card. And I don't think we had Pro Box last week. So we're having it Friday, not Wednesday. It's Friday this week. Okay. Here we go. Short history of boxing in the United States, okay? Just to refresh yourself on the history of this great sport that we love. Okay. Now, the sport of boxing has been an integral part of American culture for well over 100 years. Now, even when the popularity experienced low points in history, a lot of men and women still took great interest in watching and participating in the sport. You know, boxing was never going to disappear, and it never will. The sweet science has catalyzed new interest in many people and kept countless other people from going to or returning to prison. And like I always say, there's much more to boxing than just two people hitting each other in the face. It takes a lot of practice to develop the agility, quickness, guile, and techniques necessary to be successful in the ring, right? Now, it is said that Irish immigrants introduced boxing to the United States as they migrated to the Northeast throughout the 1860s and the 1870s. Then they gaining prominence in cities like New York and Boston during the last quarter of the 19th century. And at that time, they fought with only bare knuckles, remember? Now, there were no state-sanctioned bare knuckles fights. The bare knuckles fights were organized and champions were recognized by the popular men's lifestyle magazine, the National Police Gazette. Now, in 1867, the first set of boxing rules to mandate the use of gloves was established in London, England, and remember, known as the Queensberry Rules. And it was established in England in 1867 and adopted in the United States in 1889. Now, John L. Sullivan, just before the Queensberry Rules, John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckles heavyweight champion. And after the Queensberry Rules, John L. Sullivan was the first glove champion under the new rules. He beat James Corbett in 1892. Now, as the sport gained more prominence, the Amateur Athletic Union, or the AAU, was established on January 21st, 1888. And the AAU had its first event in April of that year, okay? Now, in 1900, New York State passed a heavily restrictive Lewis Law, whose aim was to effectively ban the sport of boxing entirely. And the new sport effectively banned prize fighting and other fights unless the two competitors belonged to an exclusive athletic club and were held in private venues. You couldn't have boxing. You had to belong to a club, and it had to be held in a private venue, okay? It wasn't available to the general public. Fortunately, though, states in the western United States were a lot more lenient and tolerable with allowing boxing matches to take place. And that played a major role in keeping the sport active, you know. California was a place where a lot of fights happened during that period, and other western states. Now, during this era, champions were determined by the popular consensus expressed in newspapers, okay? Didn't have any sanctioning bodies or anything like that then. Popular consensus expressed in newspapers determined the champions at that time. Yeah. In 1920, The Lewis law was repealed, that restrictive law that banned boxing in the East. It was repealed. And it was replaced by the Walker Law. And the Walker Law established the New York State Athletic Commission, the NYSAC, and it implemented various rules and regulations that were in the best interest of the fighters' safety. Okay? And to make the sport more palatable towards a broader audience. Because before that law, you could hit a man while he was down, you could kick, gouge his eyes out, all kinds of stuff, man. Use your thumb. But then when the Walker Law came in, it eliminated all that stuff. Made it more tolerable towards broader audiences to watch. And some changes included fighting 15 rounds for title fights instead of just fighting until somebody couldn't continue. They put in 15 rounds. It mandated that medical personnel be present for the entire fight and banned certain moves like headbutting, okay? Then, the following year, in 1921, the National Boxing Association, NBA, was established, which comprised 13 states. And the NBA later changed its name in 1962 to the WBA, remember? And is now one of the leading boxing promotions, sanctioning bodies in the world. And the reason they changed to the WBA in 62 because at that time, boxing was becoming more international. So they went from the National Boxing Association to the World Boxing Association. Okay? Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do Boxing? Salute. Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 p.m. It's a more fire boxing talk. Let you know about everything that's going on in boxing today. And of course, give you the balanced, non-biased view on it. Just Do Boxing. Salute, Just Do. Yeah, the NBA changed to the WBA in 1962 because boxing was becoming so international at that time. Now, because of these new changes I was talking about that came in with the Walker Law, boxing became real popular in the 20s. It became as popular as it had ever been at that time. And it really rose to prominence once radio stations began broadcasting fights, okay? And it was typical to see several thousand people in attendance for major events. Now, Jack Dempsey, he was heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926. He became a household name. And like I told you, he became one of the big five in American sports, joining baseball player Babe Ruth, tennis player Bill Tilden, golfer Bobby Jones, and football player Red Grange. And Jack Dempsey was more popular than all of them, okay? He had a big part in making boxing as popular as it became in the 1920s. And at that time, boxing was quickly becoming mainstream and accepted as a legitimate sport in the public eye, okay? In 1923, Chicago Tribune sports editor Arch Ward was instrumental in creating the Golden Gloves of America. Now, the Golden Gloves was initially created for holding competitions between amateur fighters just from Chicago and New York. Those two cities was where the sport was most popular at that time, okay? In 1962, it changed its name to the National Golden Gloves, and it remains the pinnacle of amateur boxing competitions, the Golden Gloves. Yep. Now let's go up to the 1930s from 1920. Now, just as the sport started gaining in popularity, it took a major hit. You know why? The stock market crashed in 1929, right? And that's when boxing was just getting as popular as it had ever been. The stock market crashed. As the country went through a depression for the rest of the decade, professional boxers also experienced a massive reduction in payouts due to the crippled economy. However, Thanks to a highly competitive heavyweight division, the sport was kept alive by entertaining fighters such as Max Schmeling, the German fighter, remember? Max Baer, who me and Old School talked about Monday, and Joe Louis, who became champion in 1937 and held the title until his first retirement in 1949. And remember, Louis is still, to this day, 1924, the only boxer in any weight class to hold a world title for an entire decade. Now, like I always tell you, Ricardo Lopez had it in the 90s for the entire 90s, except for a few months, because he vacated his title at 105 to go up to become champion. He vacated his title in 1998 at 105 to go up to become champion at junior flyweight at 108. That's the only reason why he wasn't champion for the entire 1990s. But Joe Louis was champion for the entire 1940s, and he's the only one to accomplish that feat. Now, boxing in the war-torn 1940s, okay? Now, of course, the world was never the same after the Nazis invaded Poland in 1939. And the United States was in shock after the bombing of Pearl Harbor by Japan, December 7th, 1941. And then the country shifted its focus on the war effort. And most title fights during the next 3 years were suspended. Now, many fighters, including Joe Louis, joined the military and fought in the war. Okay? Now, television was still in its infancy at that time, but a lot of television stations took advantage of the low cost it took to broadcast boxing compared to other sports. Now, there were very few title fights going on during the war-torn 40s, but boxing fans were still entertained by highly competitive 10-round fights. And the sport grew even more popular during the war. Still great popularity. Because boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky Graziano, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know had it with this guy, man. I'm the boxtorian here. Goodbye. Oh, boy. Can somebody shoot this guy down for me, please? With a wrench. Because he's way off the subject. You know, get a channel and do some history, my man. Can somebody shoot him down, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. Somebody, anybody. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of it. You need to get a channel and do history. Appreciate it. One of my moderators, please. That's why you have the wrenches. Shoot this guy down for me, please. Thank you. Now, where were we? Excuse me for a minute. I don't know why I can't do it. I'm not trying to move the message. I'm trying to remove him. I bet you didn't even subscribe. Nope. And there with all that nonsense and didn't even subscribe to the channel. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, well, boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky Graciano, Archie Moore, and Jake LaMotta soon became stars of the sport. With LaMotta and Robinson developing a fierce rivalry, fighting 5 times in 3 years. And they fought twice in 3 weeks, the second and third fights. Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson. Fought twice in 3 weeks. I don't know why I can't do it. Okay. Murderous Row. And I talked about the Murderous Row fighters before. Throughout much of the 1940s, 8 African American boxers named Charles Burley, Eddie Booker, Jack Chase, Coco Kidd, Burt Lytell, Lloyd Marshall, Aaron Wade, and Holman Williams were heavily avoided by many other prominent boxers of the era, including Sugar Ray Robinson. He avoided Charles Burley. Okay. 6 of them never received a title shot because of corrupt management and oftentimes their skin color. Instead, they had to fight each other just to stay active. Lloyd Marshall and the Coco Kid, Eddie Booker, and Charles Burley were eventually inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. The only 2 that had titles out of the group were Jack Chase. He had the California State Heavyweight and Middleweight type belts, and Eddie Booker. He actually lost his title to Jack Chase. Eddie Booker did. Man, somebody with a wrench, get this guy out of my chat, please. Damn. For some reason, I can't do it. Just hit block or whatever you got to do. Get him out of here. Boxing in the 1950s. As the golden age of economic expansion in the country was taking off. Bear with me for a second. I guess I got to do it. Okay, boxing in the 1950s. As the golden age of economic expansion in the country was taking off. So the war is over, the economy is coming back, everything's getting back to normal. All the fighters are coming back to the sport. Okay? The golden age of economic expansion was taking off. There we go. You want something done, you got to do it your damn self. Yeah, talking all that nonsense. He didn't even subscribe to the damn channel. Come on, man. Hell out of here. Thank you. Now, as the golden age of economic expansion in the country was taking off, so too was the sport of boxing. Many boxers who fought in the war made their return to the ring, eager to take advantage of increased paydays brought about by a booming economy. The economy was coming back. the war was over, all the fighters were coming back, and they were anxious to get back in the ring, take advantage of all the money that was available. Television was becoming big in the sport, making the paydays better. Fighters and their managers knew that televised fights were the way to make big money and increase the chances of cashing in on endorsement deals. Okay? It was common for big name fighters to get acting roles and date the hottest Hollywood starlets. LaMotta and Robinson fought each other for the last time in 1951. But they both went on to fight many others throughout the decade and into the next. Sugar Ray went for the title in his third division at light heavyweight, but he fell short because the heat got him. That was the fight where only time he ever got stopped in the 13th round. He had to quit because of heat exhaustion. And before Sugar Ray quit, they had to change referees because the referees succumbed to heat exhaustion before Sugar Ray cut. So it was really hot in the ring that night. That was the only time Sugar Ray ever got stopped. He had to quit on the stool because of heat exhaustion. Okay. Now, considered by some to be the greatest heavyweight of all time, Rocky Marciano is still the only undefeated champion in history retiring. Heavyweight, that is, because Floyd retired. Retiring in 1955 with a record of 49 wins, no losses, with 43 knockouts. And at this time, the golden age of boxing was in full swing, although many of the fights during that era were marred with corruption and mafia influence. Okay? That's when the mob was really involved in boxing. Then we go to the 1960s. That's in 1962 when the NBA changed its name to the World Boxing Association because boxing was getting so international at that time. Members from the NBA and 11 boxing representatives from other countries met in Mexico City on Valentine's Day in 1963, and the World Boxing Council, WBC, was born. A year after the NBA changed to the WBA, the WBC came into existence. Okay? And at that time, boxing was trying to clean up its public image because the feds had just came into it and got the mob out of it, okay, to a certain extent because they were still involved. And now, like I said, we still got the Bob Father, Mauricio, people like that. So, still got fixed fights involved. And at that time, a young heavyweight sensation named Cassius Clay started making a lot of noise, both in and out of the ring. He was just 22 years old. And just a couple months before he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. That's when he beat Sonny Liston to win the WBA and the New York State Athletic Commission and Ring Magazine heavyweight world title in February 1964. Now, he was incredibly vocal about his opposition to the United States involvement in North Vietnam. Remember? And in 3 years after that second Sonny Liston, after the Sonny Liston situation in 1967, Ali was arrested for refusing to follow conscription orders into the U.S. Army. Less than 2 months later, he was convicted in 21 minutes for violating the selective service laws, and they stripped Ali of his titles and took his boxing license. And he was suspended from every commission in the country, and his passport was revoked. They wasn't letting Ali fight anywhere, okay? Then we go to the 1970s. Boxing in the 1970s. Yeah, this guy here typing in all this nonsense, he didn't even have the decency to subscribe to the channel. Come on, man. Get out of here. Boxing in the 1970s. The 1970s ushered in what is arguably And I don't care who he is. He could be the king of England. You doing all that talking and chatting and all this historic. Hit subscribe, man. Come on. Form my channel and talk history. But not here. I'm the Boxtorian here. Okay? I don't know why how come anybody wouldn't shoot him down? That's what the wrenches are for. I had to do it myself. But you want something done, do it yourself, right? But boxing in the 1970s, excuse me. The 1970s ushered in what is arguably the best decade for the heavyweight division. Okay? Ali was reinstated. Excuse me. Ali was reinstated and he won the North American Boxing Federation title. I believe he beat Oscar Bonavena for that. Okay. Yeah, December 1970, he beat Oscar Bonavena for his first title after he was reinstated. Okay. And the following year, 1971, he suffered his first career loss to Joe Frazier in the second fight of the century, okay? In an attempt to regain the 3 other titles that were stripped from him 4 years earlier. But he did later regain those titles from George Foreman in October 1974 during the famous Thriller in Manila fight. No, that was a Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman. But he later lost them to Leon Spinks in February 1978. But before that, he fought Joe Frazier 2 more times. The second time, I believe Ali had the second time, there was no major title on the line. I think Ali had the NABF. But then the third time, Ali had beat Foreman to regain the titles. Then the Thriller in Manila was a title fight between Ali and Frazier. And that's arguably one of the greatest fights of all time, And then he had the situation with Norton, 3 fights. Excuse me, can't get my throat. Situation with Norton, 3 fights, which I don't think Ali won any of them. But they gave him 2 of the 3. The first one was the fight where Norton broke his jaw, remember? Norton, that was the only one they gave to Norton. The other 2 they gave to Ali. I thought Norton won all 3 of them. And then the situation with Leon Spinks in 1978, when Spinks beat him, Ali got the title back later that same year. But during that period was when the WBC had 4 champions in 4 months. They had Spinks started out as champion, right? No, Ali was champion. Then Spinks beat him to become the second champion. And then the WBC wanted Spinks to fight Norton, so they stripped him, gave it to Norton. He became third, and then Holmes beat Norton in that 4-month span to become the 4th WBC champion in 4 months. Okay. But after the Spinks fight, Ali only fought 2 more times. He lost to Holmes, and he lost to Trevor Berbick, which he should have been out of the ring at that point anyway, okay? But there were many fights between other heavyweights during that time too, not just Ali, Foreman, and Frazier. Larry Holmes, Floyd Patterson, Ken Norton, Leon Spinks, Chuck Webner. Chuck Webner became the inspiration behind the Rocky movie, okay? That came out in 1976. Now, George Foreman, he first retired in 1977 at 28 years old after he lost to Jimmy Young. And he wouldn't compete again for 10 years. We all know that story. He came back at 87. Now, boxing in the 80s. Now, after Muhammad Ali's retirement, and by the way, Ali and Frazier retired 1 week apart after this. How they were intertwined, their careers with those 3 big fights. Frazier retired 1 week, and then 8 days later, Ali retired. Isn't that something? 8 days apart. But after Muhammad Ali's retirement, the sport was devoid of exciting and bombastic figures to draw a crowd. The heavyweight division frequently rotated title holders until until an undefeated knockout artist named Mike Tyson came along. Okay, he defeated Trevor Berbick in the second round, and Berbick looked scared from the beginning. When they were standing there in the stare down, he looked like he would rather be anywhere than standing right there looking at Mike Tyson at that moment. Okay, and he ended up just trying to survive during the fight. And Tyson was 28-0 with 26 knockouts at that time. And they landed that left hook on Berbick, right? And Berbick was unable to regain his equilibrium as he fell down twice while trying to get back up. The fight was over, and the boxing world would have a new king for the rest of the 80s. And Mike became an international sensation, okay? And then in the 1990s, the 90s started with one of the biggest upsets in sports history, not just boxing, sports history, when Tyson was knocked out by Buster Douglas for the WBA, WBC, and IBF heavyweight titles. And that was undisputed at the time, okay? I think the WBO had came into existence, but none of the other three were recognizing it yet as a major title. So Buster Douglas took all three of those from Mike. And the shockwaves just reverberated throughout not just the boxing world, the sports world. I remember that. Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog coming into that fight. Thomas said, how come you didn't shoot that guy down, man? What happened? Were you in here? You know him? Is he supposed to be some big time person or something? James Romano. He's in here specting all his boxing history and stuff. He didn't even have the decency to subscribe to the channel. So, start your own channel. Okay. But I got rid of him. Yeah, because he was ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. Because I was begging for somebody to get rid of him. But I did it. But anyway, that's history now. I mean, he could at least subscribe to the channel. Come on, man. You chatting every 2 seconds. A bunch of BS. And when he probably didn't even hit the like button, I bet. I bet you didn't even hit the like button. A troll. Ridiculous. Yeah, but that lost Buster Douglas to Tyson. And that was supposed to be Tyson warm up for Holyfield. But like I said before, Buster Douglas didn't get the memo that he was supposed to lose. And then after that, Tyson ended up in a courtroom. The situation with the beauty contest or something? And the lady goes up to his room 2 o'clock in the morning. What was she thinking? Her and Mike was going up to that room for 2 different reasons, right? And she hollered rape. That's what she went for. And Mike ended up in prison. And he served less than 3 years before he got released. He did win the title again. He got the WBC title back in March 1996, but he lost that to Holyfield in November that same year. Then they fought again in June of 97, and that was the bite fight, remember? He not only bit Holyfield, he bit off part of his ear. And I saw that he was standing there chewing. So what was Holyfield thinking about? Didn't he feel this man chewing on his ear? Why didn't he move or do something? Yeah, he just stood there and let him chew his ear off. You don't just stand there in 2 seconds and chew somebody's ear off, but it happened. And Mike got disqualified, suspended, fined, and everything. But he did get another title shot in 2002 against Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis knocked Mike out in the 8th round. And we had a good rivalry between Riddick Bowe and Evander. They fought 3 times. Riddick beat him 2 out of 3. Riddick was winning the second fight when the fan man came in on some kind of contraption and landed right in the ring. And I think it affected Riddick more than Holyfield. And oh, you're good, Lonnie Lee. I'm just kidding. I got rid of him. It's okay. It's all good. But Anyway, I'm not gonna take everybody's wrench. No, just kidding. But anyway, Fan Man came in on some kind of contraption and landed right in the ring. And Fan Man took the worst beating that night. I mean, security was all over him. I don't know what kind of shape he was in when he got out, but I think it affected Bo more because they say Bo Weiss fainted in the audience and everything. And Holyfield went on to win that one, but then I think Bo knocked Holyfield out in the third fight. Bo won the first fight by decision, but Bo won the last fight. And we never got the Riddick Bowe Lennox Lewis, who met in I think it was the gold medal match in the '88 Olympics. Lewis won it, and we never got the Bowe Lewis fight. Bowe threw the belt in the trash can. Somebody said it was because of the offer he received, but they never fought. That was one we never got because they both met in the Olympics, gold medal fight, and then they both started out, took off in the professional ranks, and everybody was waiting for them to meet again in the professional ranks, but it never happened. Never happened. That's one that got away. Yeah, it was a few fights like that, but we never got that one. But we got Holyfield and Lewis. Lewis beat Holyfield. And Lewis unified the division just before the 2000s came in. And then the 2000s, we had boxers like Floyd, Oscar. Manny ran through the 2000s like crazy. Might have been on I don't know about the PEDs going through those weight classes because he was going through weight classes just 3 pounds apart. 4 of them he went through with just 10 pounds. He went through flyweight, super flyweight, bantamweight, and super bantamweight. Those just 10 pounds. So as you get up higher, that's almost like one division. So he didn't necessarily have to be on steroids, being successful going through those divisions because it's only 10 pounds, 4 of them. So that's 4 right there, So, but going all the way up to what did he go to? Welterweight or something like that? I don't know. But Manny he was the boxer of the decade from 2001 to 2010. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. And then we wanted Floyd and Manny in 2000, around that time, but we didn't get it until 2015, right? Like 5 years too late. Yeah, like 5 years too late. But I think the same thing would have happened if we would have got it earlier. Pretty Boy Floyd or Money Mayweather would have beaten Manny. Yeah. But for some reason, Manny wouldn't take that drug test. And he said he was scared of needles, but he had tattoos from his head to his feet, to his, from head to toe. But Freddie Roach said Manny wasn't scared of the needles. He was afraid because when you're giving blood, you got to see the blood going up into the needle. And Freddie Roach said that's the part he was afraid of, which you don't have to go through when you get the tattoos, You're not drawing no blood. So Freddie said he was actually scared of his blood being drawn. It wasn't exactly the needles, but But finally, in 2015, we got that fight. It was pretty much a washing by Floyd. But after Lewis retired in 2003, we had others like Roy Jones, like a Junior. Floyd Mayweather Jr. came along. B-Hop became the first man to be undisputed in the 4-bout era. And then Jermaine Taylor, who we talked about a little while ago, took it from him, right? That was the 2000. Oscar was around. Like I said, Manny. Shane Mosley. And then we got up into the teens, 20 teens. Floyd was the face of boxing for years. We had all those historic pay-per-views. Even had that one against Conor McGregor, the MMA guy. 4.3 million buys just in the United States. Okay. I think the top one is it still Floyd and Manny? I think it is, right? Floyd and Manny. And then now the Jake Paul came along. A lot of people didn't like what he was doing, said he was bad for boxing, but he just stepped into the void where the real boxers wasn't doing. They wouldn't fight each other or anything. So Jake Paul just stepped in that void, man. And hey, he's been good for women's boxing. women with Jake get 12 rounds, 3 minutes. They getting paid. So Jake's been good, man. And he had that card, I think it was last year, where Amanda Serrano was the headliner, and then Amanda got injured or something and wasn't on the card, but Jake stepped into the headliner. They had all the other fights on the card, but guess what? Jake still gave everybody their money back. A full refund. Everybody got to watch it for free. Do you think the Bob Father or Eddie Hearn or any of them would have did, Oscar would have did that? Hell no. Bob Father would have been like, well, you didn't get the original headliner, but you still got fights. I'm not giving you an effing thing back. Yeah. So Jake gave everybody the money back, which was big. I like Jake Paul. I think he hasn't been bad for boxing. He's been good for boxing. Brought a lot of casual fans' eyes on it, you know? Yeah. Then we had that monster from Baltimore came into prominence and one of the faces of boxing now. Of course, Canelo took over from Floyd. Canelo's still one of the faces. We had that monster from Baltimore come in, Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's the cash cow. Everybody he fights blows up, except Hector. Hector fought Tank. Well, Ryan fought Tank. Rolly fought him, went up and got a title. Pitbull fought him, went up and got a title. Hector fought him, and in the next fight lost his title. Hector wouldn't let it, that Tank fight really affected Hector. Remember, he's sitting in the corner saying he couldn't see. And his next fight, he wouldn't let his hands go. In there against Lamont Roach, who fights tomorrow, remember? It was nothing like the Hector that beat Chris Colbert. Against Lamont Roach, he was hesitant, looked like he was gun shy, man, and he lost his title. And by the way, Lamont Roach fights tomorrow, his first title defense. And I liked the guy last weekend, Espinoza. I want to see him and Nick Ball in the ring because, like I said yesterday, Espinoza is 6'1". Okay, at featherweight, and Nick Ball is about 5 feet. How will that look? A 6'1" guy fighting a guy 5 feet. 6'1" at 126. That's another one. Maybe if they put that rehydration clauses in, Espinoza probably would have to move up because I know he ain't nowhere near 126 once he rehydrate. Man, no way. At 6'1", I don't know how he gets down to that, but he does it. But yeah, I can't say enough about the weight bullying. They need to address that. But 5 cards this week: Lamont Roach tomorrow, Pro Box; Teofimo against Steve Plackett Saturday; and Bam and Juan Francisco. And suppose Teofimo loses, though, is that it for him? The man gonna have to be checked in. Him and his father, if he loses, they're gonna both be in a mental institution, roommates. If Teofimo loses. But if he wins, we're going to have to hear his father bragging. Oh my goodness. He's going to be unbearable, you know, because they went to Australia to get this guy to make Teofimo look good. Everybody knows that. But if the guy gets in there and beats him, oh man, Teofimo, you are in for it. But it's Saturday. That's the Top Rank card, right? And Bam. Who is Bam? The Zone? Eddie Hearns? I think. Al Booker in the building. I didn't know he was in here, Al Booker. What's up, Al Booker? In the building. Yeah. Salute. We just talking about these 5 cards we got coming up this week. Oh, you like that, Mike? Yeah. Yeah, what y'all think about that, though? 6'1", Rafael Espinoza against 5 feet, Nick Ball. Is Nick Ball 5 feet? He might not even be 5 feet, but would that be something, them two in the ring? I think Nick Ball will get knocked out because Espinoza got some pop, and Nick Ball is going to have all kinds of trouble getting inside, man. That's just too much height and reach. 6'1", 126. Maybe we'll see that one day. But the way these guys, these champions do nowadays, they run from each other. They don't want no parts of each other. I don't understand it. Not all of them, but most of them. Look at, we getting ready to get some good action at 135 though, because Tank, Shakur, Loma, Burincek, they setting it up where they all going to throw down. Coach Kenny said Tank and Loma November 2024. That's about right. Shakur fights next weekend against Artem, and then I think Shakur is going to go up against Burincek next, and the winner of Shakur and Burincek will meet the winner of Tank and Loma next year. Because if Tank and Loma's in November, yeah, Tank and Shakur will be 2025. Yeah, be a good fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait till next weekend though. That's a good card. It's got Shakur, the Keyshawn, and his brother Calvin, Abdullah Mason on it. Wow, that's next Saturday. And we're getting close to that big one in August. Turkey Ali Sheik's first card in the United States in LA. Bud Crawford, Israel Madrimov, and Pitbull and Rayo is on that card. Virgil and Tim Tszyu had been, they struck that one, didn't they? Tim was too close to those injured, that big cut he suffered against Fundora. I thought that was kind of like too soon for him to be back in there. Because that thing was serious, man. It was like a big gash in the man's head. How did that happen? With one of them sharp elbows of Fundora on the top? Tall as he is, yeah. 6'7" at 154. His sister's 5'9" at 112. So yeah. They I don't know how they do it, man. Get down to them weights with all that height, but they do it. But then you can rehydrate to whatever you want to rehydrate to. They need to address that. And like I said, have the second weigh-in, not Saturday morning, right before you make your ring walk. The weight bullying would be over, Old school said Devin would retire. Yeah, the weight bullying would be over though, because then you got to fight where you belong at. You don't have no time to put all that weight back on. You rehydrate 10% of the contract weight. You weigh in at the contract weight Friday, and then Saturday night, when it's time for you to make your weigh in, they come back there with the scale. Get on it, now go get your ass in the ring, damn it, and fight. You ain't got time to put 25 pounds back on. Weight bullying would be over. But Mauricio will never do that. I heard the WBA has a rehydration clause now, but Mauricio and the WBC are not going to do it. Mauricio is bad for boxing. He doesn't do anything right. He's pro-Mexican. He cheats. Look at Oscar Valdez. How can you fail your A and B sample and still fight? And then still lose? And then they cheat and give you the fight anyway. Your Robson Conceição, man, he just has bad luck, man. He got robbed against Valdez and Navarrete. They called it a draw. And Navarrete knocked it down 2 times. It wasn't a draw. Conceição got up and beat him. Showed toughness, man. And now he's fighting O'Shaquie on that Shakur card. That's another one. That's the co-main. O'Shaquie and Conceição. But see, Conceição beat Valdez and Navarrete, both pressure fighters. But I think he's going to have problems against a boxer like O'Shaquie. Yeah, I think O'Shaquie will get the decision from him. Conceição pieced up and boxed those pressure guys, but against O'Shaquie, I don't think he's going to have that same success. O'Shaquie will get it. But yeah, Conceição is a gold medalist too from Brazil. He won the gold medal at the Olympics in Rio, Brazil in 2016. That was the first one where they let professional boxers go to. And in 2020, I didn't know Keyshawn had turned pro before those Olympics did. Him and another guy were the first American professionals to fight in the Olympics. I did not know that. But yeah, Keyshawn had turned pro before he won. What did he win? The silver in the Olympics? Yeah. That's who the other guy was. 2020. And Conceição won his gold medal. Been robbed of his world championships twice. 2 times. They robbed the guy. They robbed Ross. Like I said yesterday, he should change his name, go by his middle name. because that Robson is bringing them bad luck because they robbed Robson 2 times. Man. Not good. But don't forget, tomorrow is the life and career of Bernard Hopkins. Next Thursday, the History of the State series continues. It's going to be a good one because it's California. We don't have any states ending in B, do we? Boston, Baltimore, no, those are cities. Right? Baton Rouge, that's a city. So California is next, right? After Arkansas, I think. I got to check, but I believe it is. History of boxing. They got a big history in boxing. A lot of good fighters came out of there. Like Devin the Dream Haney. Devin the Dream Haney. Ryan Garcia. But I usually do form, but I might do some active guys next week. But today is Thursday, yeah. Tomorrow is Life and Career of Bernard Hopkins. The JBT panel discussion returns Monday. Me and Old School did our show together Monday because that was the only day he was available. And we got like 100 likes so far from that, man. People really liked that show. That was good. So we're going to try like once a month to do something together. I didn't want to interfere with the Angry White Men podcast, but Old School said he was down for it. Just do like a profile or a historical show because Old School got a lot of historic knowledge too, man. And we can't leave that untapped, okay? So we're going to get together once a month and do something. Yep, me and Old School are rant. One half of the Angry White Men podcast with him and D1. And that thing that took off like a rocket ship, man. Their show. They just came right in like they've been doing it for years, man. They are really putting it down over there on the Angry White Men podcast. But guess what? It's almost time for the voice of the streets to come in here and do his thing. Yeah, man, but that guy, I had to strike, man. The man in here talking all that nonsense. He didn't even hit the damn subscription button, man. You know? Chatting every 5 minutes with some nonsense. Subscribe to the channel, man. You know? Or go elsewhere. Start your own history channel. But anyway, Al Booger, Just Do Boxing, Tim Layton, hashtag JBT, Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT, Melanin Queen 27, James Romano, probably won't see him anymore. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT, at least I hope not. Let's Talk Fashion, Remo, hashtag JBT, Mike Rim, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more, Mike Mazik, D1, Average White Man, hashtag JBT, Angry White Man. It was an Average White Band, remember? D1 from the Angry White Men, hashtag JBT. Real Prison Talk with Tommy, another one of our fire new channels. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Salute RP, appreciate you. And Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Another Cass sport going into the history books. Appreciate everybody. See y'all over at The Voice. Remember, don't meet me there, beat me there. Everybody have a great day. Just Do Boxing, straight ahead. This is Cass Sports, signing off. Oh, before I started, we needed 12 more hours, Lonnie. 12 more hours. Might be there by tomorrow. Appreciate you. Everybody have a good day.